y'all. I want to talk about Essay 2 and the annotated bibliography that goes along with it. I've had a couple questions, so I'm just going to go ahead and send this out as an announcement. So for Essay 2, you're no longer going to be doing a journal. You're going to be doing more of your run-of-the-mill literary analysis that you did in like English 112. I know my students did a literary analysis, but for the most part, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be making an argument about a text that we've read. Most of those texts that I have, at least here, are texts that we've done in this half of the semester. So you can do anything, but I would say this half of the semester might be better. Anyway, so you're going to make an argument. And so your argument is not going to be something like, I thought this was dumb. That's not a very good argument. But if you think about in terms of Rappaccini's daughter, the other day we talked about a character that was evil. So you could say, I think Baglioni is the most evil character. And then your whole paper would be you trying to prove that Baglioni was the most evil character. So that's kind of what I mean by an argument. So really, look at this in bold. If you don't have an argument, you cannot make higher than a 70. And so really, these are like your reader responses where I give you a question and you answer those questions using your brain, your interpretation of the text, but now you'll be adding this layer of secondary sources. And those secondary sources will come from, I would say they'd come from the library, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to move on to these questions really quickly. Bartleby the Scrivener. Students really like this story, but really this is a pretty long question, and really what I'm meaning to ask here, who do you side with, the narrator or Bartleby? And so kind of keep that in your mind. Some of these questions just help answer that. Discuss the role of marriage and family in slavery as seen in Jacob's incidents in the life of a slave girl. I want you to keep in your mind that this piece, students for some reason with this one, they tend to make it more of a history paper because they try to look at marriage and family in slavery, but they leave out Jacob's piece for whatever. So I want you to remember that this is a literary analysis. So you need to be looking at the story, or not the story, but it's an autobiographical story, instead of just slavery in general. This is a literary analysis, not a history paper. I don't know that I would do this one because it's about transcendentalism, and I didn't do that this semester. You can look at our Gothic stories and look at human nature, but you could do this with just about any story. Human nature, do you think the characters learned something in the process? And I'm thinking so hard about like Ichabod Crane and the narrator, Roderick Usher. I don't know, maybe you'll find that. Find something out there. And so you could look at the evolution of the slave narrative, and you would probably look at Equiano, Jacobs, and Douglas in that piece. Okay? Compare Men of Adamant to Minister's Black Veil. These are Hawthorne stories. I just like to throw some other things kind of out there. So these are things that you could do. If you have any questions, let me know. Psychoanalyze one or several of the characters in Usher. Look at a cultural, socioeconomic, or feminist critique. There's a million ideas out there. And so if you have an idea that you like, please let me know. I don't care. I think that's a great idea. You don't have to kind of stick yourself into these little boxes if it doesn't fit you. And please feel free to reach out to me if you have questions. And then another thing that I do, if I don't have a good idea, I will Google stuff. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to get your answer there, but if you need help getting a question, absolutely. Okay, how you're going to be graded. Obviously, thesis, sentence, your idea, making sure you have an argument, how you organize that argument, and then that you give kind of a thoughtful analysis of the piece, and then correct MLA citation. So you are going to use 2 outside sources for your paper. 3 of those are going to be in your annotated bibliography. And so then obviously, whenever you have your paper, you're going to have 2 of the 3 sources from your annotated bibliography plus the story. Okay? Okay. So then the due dates are on the schedule, so I'm not going to stress you out too much about that. I want to take 1 second now and go to the library page and show you where I think I would do my research. And so for this one, it does change a little bit, so if you've watched this far, you're lucky. So if you go to the library pages, what I would do, instead of going to NC Live, I actually would go databases A to Z, and then I would go to B for Blooms. I gotta find you. Blooms. Literature. Okay, there he is. Harold Bloom was the guy. But so if you want to look up something like the The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. You'll find like lots of interesting pieces. They'll have essay topics, but probably what I would do is go to criticism, and there'll be 14 pieces and you only need 3. And so I would think Bloom's is going to be the very best place for you to go. If you don't use that, then I would say maybe NC Live. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and post that. So basically for your annotated bibliography, 3 secondary sources. And it's going to be set up the same way your other annotated bibliography. Those 3 sources, you can take one out, add the story to it, add Sleepy Hollow to it, for example, and that'll be your paper. Now, if you have questions about that or I'm not explaining it clearly, and I can see where you might think that, please just let me know. I mean, give me a call or send me an email. I feel like I'm pretty good about checking emails. All right, y'all. Well, hey, y'all have a great day.